I'm opening the floor for your questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand. And of course, address it to the panelist that you want to put it up with.
Hello, I am Advocate Arun Deshmukh. And first of all, I would reiterate that 90%, more than 90% of the medals are won because of support of parents. And I am one of the proud parents wherein when the SSC exam was there, I asked my daughter to go and play for a judo national. She won the medal there.
Great.
We have academies, we have budget, but the admin expense takes away 90% of that budget. That is one problem. And as a parent, now the threat is mobile. If you do not ask your child to go to the ground, he will be lost in the mobile. Thank you. And that is the point where the sports will help the kids, the young generation and young India. If we don't ask our kids to go to ground, they will lose their all youth in this mobile.
I think he just made an observation, not in particular addressing any question. But any one of you want to make a point to the gentleman's point there? And he's leading by example. कि मैं तो अपने बच्चे को एग्जाम छुड़वा के भी स्पोर्ट के लिए encourage कर रहा हूँ. Anyone wants to add?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you, sir, for leading by example. That's one. I think you also bring a very valid point about the smart gadgets. In the fact of a smart gadget, where we know the dangers of smart gadgets, whether it's social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whether we know WhatsApp, all the stuff that goes on bullying on smart gadgets. But what I will also add, why not make a sports app? Why not look at a health app? Why not look at monitoring your sleep using an Apple Watch? Why not look at monitoring your heart rate using a smart gadget? All of us athletes have used modern tech to better ourselves. We use modern tech not just to watch YouTube and videos of our opponents, but being the son of a sports medicine doctor who's also an Olympic champion, we've managed to devise a way on how to use modern technology to better your quality of life. You can even look at your diet, the number of calories you eat, the protein intake, the carbohydrate intake, the amount of rice you eat, the amount of dal you eat. All of that can be monitored on a gadget. So I think educating our children on how to use their smart gadgets is important. I don't think that we can take them away from the smart gadgets anymore. I think that battle is long gone. But I think the responsibility of a parent is also to modernize yourself on what the next generation is using and train them that the knowledge of using modern devices is more important rather than keeping them away from it.
Hello.
Anybody else from the audience? Yeah, please go ahead.
My name is Jitendra Tavre and I represent boxing in Mumbai and Maharashtra. As we all aware, boxing is such a sport that it plays at lower level. And I agree with the Paji when you are saying you must have infrastructure. But at the same time, you must have a strength in your body and where it comes from. There is no diet. So it's not only having an infrastructure also, but what you used to do, all four of you, about your own diet. Do you were specific about eating some much for performance before match or during practice? I didn't know. Second question, it's like a Haryana model now. They are very much sure. When I win some medal for state, I have a job. So security and safety for the sportsman, yes, we must look at. And I just want your comment from that. And one thing, Leander, I'm just working on a startup, how best we can use the sports technology in, getting a transparency into sports. Because most of the times, why my kid failed or not secured a gold, he was, in a partiality, he must have lost. And we don't have a system of transparency creating and showing the sports, the numbers, the athletics, gymnasium, when someone play and you get a number there. And we don't have that system and that technology. I think we should work on everything. Thanks.
There's a need to develop a lot of things to get cracking with the, bringing in sporting culture. But I think one of the questions that he did put up about was the diet of an athlete. That's very important. I mean, in a generation that's crazy about junk food, junk culture of social media. How do we train our kids towards food that would inculcate Paji good habits and then of course champions? ये तो बहुत basic चीज है जो हर घर में जरूरी है जानना.
I think awareness. End of the day, you have to make more people should understand, parents should understand, kids should understand. I'm not saying don't taste anything, but I think awareness is very, very important.
लेकिन आजकल के बच्चे awareness तो social media influencers से ले रहे हैं ना, वो भी तो dangerous है.
I think कहीं से भी ले रहा है. अगर जिसको चैंपियन बनना है वो अपने आप ढूंढ लेता है रास्ता. We are not going to force. In sports, I don't ever want to force any kid to play this, do this. Let him feel. A lot of people used to say, my kid want to play. The parents come out, my kid he want to play. Sure, he want to play. Tell him to get up without an alarm at 5 o'clock in the morning. Passion, that much if you have a passion. Today, I can say that. I'm not saying I have a passion for golf. You say 5 o'clock golf game, I don't need alarm. The alertness within your mind and passion have to be there to come out. I mean, you have to come for this debate. If you are thinking somebody have to push you, no. You should have a passion. Passion will give you the result, not anything else.
And once you spot that passion in your kid, it should not be stopped at any level. It should be encouraged.
Then the parents' duty is to encourage.
Right.
It's not force. Not parents want them to play. That's where the sad part is. The kids also should be there. Parents' job is to show them. This is swimming pool, this is horse riding, this is golf, this is hockey, this is cricket. Let the kids should pick up. We should guide them. Because at age of 12 to age of 18, kids' interests keep on changing. The biggest we come to know when he reach or she reach age of 17, 18, what is his or her interest in life. That's the very critical time. Before that, kids will just want to play. But when you reach 17, you want to play other games also.
And ऐसा नहीं है कि नीरज चोपड़ा ने javelin throw करके gold जीत लिया तो आप अपने बच्चे के पीछे पड़ जाएं. Javelin उठा और एक और gold medal लेके आना है इंडिया के लिए. It doesn't work like that. You have to spot the talent in the kid. I have more hands coming up in the audience. Yeah, can we have the mic here? Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi all of you. I have just produced a film called Jhund, which is on slum soccer team of India, homeless soccer team, which was created by Mr. Vijay Barsi from Nagpur, a sports teacher. After retirement, channelized slum children to play World Cup from India. And this film was made recently, and Nagaraj is still playing in theaters, and Nagaraj Manjule directed it. So and Mr. Bachchan played the professor. And I really want to know from all you sports guys, I don't know how many of you are even, have heard of that film or seen the film, but at the same time, if we say that we have 130 million, 130 crore population, and we have many World Cup champions here, so it has to start from there, that basic, I feel. And that is the reason we followed that concept and we made that film, that sports can actually change kids' life in this country, and where they don't have a power of studying or going to college, sports can actually channelize that, and we all, sitting here or here, can actually adopt a child and give them one ball in life and see the change.
No, you make a very, very good point, and I'm sorry I haven't seen the movie. I apologize. I'll take up your question, Shagun, just a second. But I want to know from all of you, we have seen in the last decade or so many biopics being made on sports personalities. We've had a picture on Mary Kom, Azharuddin, and so many more. Does it help in generating more champions? Have you seen something to that effect? Sort of bringing it in our psychology that मजा आ गया पिक्चर देख के, इतना कुछ अचीव किया है स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन ने अपनी लाइफ में. But does that help? Do you see that in academies, Anju? If you can take that up. अब क्या नीरज चोपड़ा पे फिल्म बनेगी तब और चैंपियंस आएंगे? What should we do?
No, I think parents actually, after seeing this film or some biopics, some spark they are getting. So they are confused actually what to do with their kids or how to go if they are talented, how to support them. So actually parents are playing a big role in that. When I was young, my mother was the support. She was the pillar behind me. So there were a lot of eyeballs. Why you are sending your kid to sport? She will be under the sun throughout the day, and she will get dark. She won't get a good husband. So many things. But my mother told, if she got the talent, she will do, and I will support her. That was her word. So that's why I reached here till this stage. So these parents actually, they have to play a better role. I think these kind of films actually giving some spark on their views. So I'm not saying that this will support them completely, but some spark they are getting.
It ignites some sort of imagination, and then rest has to be written according to an individual's capacity. Shagun, you wanted to ask a question? Yeah. In the meantime, can I take a question from here? You call for the mic there? Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello.
Can I speak?
Yeah, my name is Martin D'Souza. This is a question to Leander. Preeti some time ago asked you a question, why don't we have more tennis champions? I am a sports journalist. I used to be a sports journalist. I cover a lot of matches of you in the early 90s playing at MSLTA. I remember you used to come there. We used to have a lot of local tournaments then. Tennis, badminton, table tennis, basketball. Today in the city of Mumbai it is zero. In individual sports, when you have talent, it is very difficult for a parent to push that child because of the finances. I remember we had Misha Grewal in the 90s who was the squash champion after Bhuvaneshwari. Her parents spent a lot of money sending her abroad while the Squash Federation of India did nothing. I'm sure you'll have cases in tennis also in individual sports. How do we address this issue of a talent being pushed by the government? Is the government doing enough for individual sports? That is question number one. Question number two, we used to have wonderful tournaments in football. We used to have the Santosh Trophy, the Durand Trophy, Rowers Cup. Today, cooperage is being used for weddings. What is happening to sports, and why isn't the government doing enough to promote sport at the grassroots, and why is it being killed systematically?
Martin, I believe that certain sports like tennis have 99% of our tournaments outside India, especially when you look at the professional level. When you look at the grassroots levels, the number of tournaments have diminished a lot. I agree with you that that is the point that the tennis fraternity or the association of tennis has to focus on. Because when you look at a sport like cricket, a lot of athletes sit back and say, the cricket boys get all the limelight, the cricket boys get all the infrastructure. I think we should learn from cricket. I think the reason that cricket is so popular and does so well is because on the grassroots levels, in Mumbai alone, we probably have in tennis, we probably have maybe 5 tournaments a year. In Mumbai alone, you probably have about 2,000 cricket teams in Mumbai. Not Maharashtra. Maharashtra, the numbers are multiplied. I think, as Paji said earlier, the passion for sport needs to start at the grassroots levels. And Martin, you are 100% right. The more tournaments we have, the more competitions we have, the more exposure we give our young children to play against other competition, that is how they get better. To answer the second question, even though it was football, which is not my forte, I can say that the ISL does a great job. I think that leagues in our country are once again following cricket. IPL today is one of the biggest sporting leagues in the world when it comes to corporate dollar and when it comes to interest. They've taken a long format of cricket and capsuled it into a 3.5 or 4 hour match, and hence everybody in the house is glued to IPL. They're glued to whether Virat Kohli is captaining or whether Dhoni is captaining a team. And I think that's the beautiful part of cricket. I think as other sports, we should not take shots at cricket. We should learn from cricket. I would also like to commend that BCCI as an association of cricket puts 200 crores approximately into other sports. To me, that's pretty damn good. So I think that, Martin, you're right. We should have more competitions. And I think you're also right that it is the association's job to promote the sport. The last thing I want to add to this, I know time's running short, but when you look at sports governance, one of my favorite sports ministers was Kiran Rijiju. When Kiran Rijiju was in play, he brought Khelo India into play. And Khelo India that came in to promote sport in our country is the reason that India has had 7 Olympic medals in the Tokyo Olympics. I say that Khelo India and Kiran Rijiju's vision was the primary reason that India came back from Tokyo with the most number of Olympic medals won in a single Olympics. I think this needs to be replicated. I think athletes like this, like Kapil Paji, like Anju, like Zafar Uncle, and all the athletes who have achieved something need to come back. They need to be brought back into the sport to encourage the system to build champions.
And nurture the passion that we've been talking about for quite some time. Passion, I think, is required at every level, whether it's at the government's level, a parent's level, at school level, a federation's level. That's something that we've not been able to manage very well. Any more questions from the floor? Yeah, Shagun.
Ma'am, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, so in the during the discussion, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So in the discussion, it was a really great session, to be honest. Thank you so much. But there was a mention of how the kids should be given the chance from a very good, from their childhood in their school days, right? So my question is it more important for the children to understand the change, or is it the parents because when we're talking about children, right now it will be of a future thing. But for that to happen, we need the parents to now understand the importance of what sports is and how good it is for the mental health and all the benefits. So is it more important for the parents to understand the change or the children to understand the change? I open it to all the panelists.
A very long question. I think the gist is that whose responsibility is it to understand the change that we need to bring in our sporting culture? A child should make up their mental attitude towards it, or it's the parents? I think we've discussed that extensively. The parent, I think, has to start that process. Zafar sir?
जो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ that club culture we have lost in the last 40 or 50 years, I would say. And that was the base of our sporting career. We had number of clubs in every state, and from there the children used to play in the mohalla or their own clubs and used to get, playing different games. So वो जो एक चीज़ है club culture we are losing. We have to develop club culture in every state, in every mohalla, in every district. Otherwise, it is, it will be very difficult because we are depending on academic culture. But academic culture is also dependent on the club culture, from where these children will come from. In Punjab, in the last 10 years, the players who are playing hockey these days for the country, they are coming from the clubs in different villages. And from there, the academies are picking the top talent, and they are giving the coaching and all sorts of supporting, scientific support of diet, is giving the free education they are providing. So that is what we are lacking. We have to regenerate our club culture in our country.
I think similarly there are these small boxing clubs in various parts of Haryana, and we've got boxing champions coming from there. And that's why I raised that point earlier that, if a state decides to adopt a sport, it becomes even more easy to nurture the talent that they have in that particular state. We have more questions from here. Radhika, I think you want to put up a question?
Yes, thanks, Preeti. We've spoken about the responsibility of governments, federations, parents, schools. Do corporate houses, businesses with deep pockets also have a responsibility? Because बात कहीं ना कहीं इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट की जब होती है तो फंड्स पे आके रुक जाती है. ऐसा नहीं है कि अब स्पोर्ट्स में फंड्स नहीं है. आप आईपीएल देखिए या कबड्डी लीग देखिए. तो क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बिजनेस हाउसेस की, कॉर्पोरेट्स की है यहाँ पर to develop mechanisms where they can identify talent and nurture it? How would you encourage them to do that? The question is open for all panelists.
Anybody in particular? Is it addressed to someone in particular or anyone can answer?
Kapil Paji, Leander.
Paji would start then.
I thought it's not responsibility of one person, it's responsibility of everybody. You can't say only corporate world will take it and they will ready to help. No, I think mindset have to change. When the mindset change, then you can change everything. I wouldn't say maybe you will get odd person with corporate coming in or club coming in, but the entire country's mindset have to change. When that change, we will have athlete in abundance. I'm not saying odd person will come, doesn't matter any facilities you have it or not. But if you want numbers, then everybody have to change their thought process.
No, and I think, again, to add to that, Baji, how would corporates also come out and help? ऐसा तो है नहीं मेरी बहुत बड़ी कंपनी में बोलूं मुझे आज से रेसलिंग को हेल्प करना है.
हमें कॉर्पोरेट चाहिए नहीं कि हम उनको फोर्स करें. If they have a mindset, they should say, we will take this sports. Again, I'm saying mindset of every corporate, they shouldn't be. Like what he said, Odisha is only come out because the chief minister of that state
was passionate.
Love about that hockey, and that's what it happened. Somebody come out, he loved tennis, that state will start doing tennis.
Which state can adopt tennis, Leander?
As Paji said, every state.
Pick up one.
It's not just about one.
Let's put the onus.
I think
Pick up one.
South is more into tennis, and I've seen that interest for the tennis. It's like Haryana is more wrestling and boxing and kabaddi and those type of things.
Right.
So every state have to do their job, but policy of the country should change slowly. We have to encourage the sports, not only one sports or two, all the sports, then you will produce in numbers.
Yeah, and I think we are moving towards that direction. When we talk about ideas of India, one of the biggest ideas that this government has come up with, this Khelo India idea and Fit India movement, this is all to inculcate a certain culture in our society so that it comes from grassroots level. I have more questions coming in. Yeah, Maria.
Hi. Me belonging to a media house, I want to know what is media house role in, grooming up a niche sport like golf. For example, we as a media house started broadcasting of golf. How do you think such a niche sport can be brought into more limelight?
Golf, sir, आपका area है.
I think golf and
Paji is
tennis,
passionate about golf.
No, golf, tennis, badminton, they are very individual games. As Leander said that, because when the individual games come, then it's a different type of mindset comes and different kind of people come. When you say a team game comes, then the federation and other things start coming. Individual game is very much interested by the parents and those association where they are ready to give the scholarship and say that. What Leander said that he got the scholarship in the beginning when they know foreign exchange you have. So today also we produce so many good golfers, but that's their own effort. But they still need help at the federation also where whatever the small help they get it. A tennis and golf, two games are like that. You have to spend your own money. If you have to travel, cricket board will pick up. I can say if Leander have to play 10 tournaments, nobody will give him travel, accommodation, everything. Same with the golf also. We have to understand that golf is everybody, the young boy have to make his own arrangement. Even he have to pay for his caddy, he have to pay for his hotel and everything. When he win the money, then he enjoys that. But a lot of people play, they don't get that sort of facilities.
तो मान लिया पाजी ने कि गोल्फ और टेनिस जो है वो नीश स्पोर्ट है, बहुत महंगे पड़ते हैं.
No, it's not. I tell you still, 90% of the world golfer come out lower middle class people. In India also, elite golfer maybe 5%, but 50-60% people come out caddy turn. What we say smart golfer, they come, they were caddy and they turn out. In the world of golf also, the best of the best golfer all time were caddy once upon a time.
But Paji, caddies still got access to golf course. It's also about having access, right? And having that exposure.
But what we said before is only infrastructure. You give them, as Leander said, you give them the playground. The young kid will come out. I'm not trying to criticize anybody. There is round about 50 stadiums in our country where people don't have access to go in to express themselves, go and play. They are not allowed. So why you make such a big stadium if you can't go and play there?
Right. The girl in the audience there complained about the fact that we started pretty late with sports discussion, but I think I've been very fair and we've got a fair amount of time to have a very detailed discussion on the ideas of India and how sports can contribute to it. One more question is coming from the audience and then I'll wait for my cue to come in. Yeah, go ahead.
Navroz, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question and also an interesting anecdote with Kapil. Kapil, do you remember at the Bombay airport a few years ago when we both got off the flight and your car did not come to pick you up? So we were having coffee at that small restaurant in the airport. And one gentleman from a bank came up to Kapil and said, I have a very young son who's 5 years old, who's brilliant at cricket. And which academy should I send him to? आपको याद होगा ये ऐसे इंसिडेंट हुआ था. So you know what Kapil said? अभी 5 साल का है ना, उसको खेलने दो. Don't try and influence him too much by a coach and by everything else. Let him develop his own skill and talent. So my question to all you athletes and all you champions is, at what age do you let a kid really go and explore himself and express himself? And at what age does actual coaching and academies come in?
I can only say about cricket, everybody is not Sachin Tendulkar. Age of 15 can represent country. Everybody is not like Boris Becker who can go age of 16 or 17 win the Wimbledon. I think you have to see your own kids, what is the right age for them. Yes, start introducing, but I think after 15, 16, they should ready, which I said before also, will be ready. Not before that. Before that, open the gate, let them play.
Fantastic. And I think before I take up another question, I have a question for the audience here. How many of you really believe that the idea of India is incomplete without sports contribution to it? And then now we are going to ask our panelists to weigh in on that one by one. Your concluding comments really. The idea of India. Is it complete without sports contribution or not, Leander? Let's start with you. And how do we take it forward? Of course, we all talk about the fact that, we need to produce more Olympic champions and give results so that kids are encouraged to take up sports. But in that sense, infrastructure first or champions first? Or is it a cycle that has, no head, no tail? It has to go on in its own, way.
That's a chicken and egg situation, whether the champions should come first or whether the infrastructure should come first. But in that, I feel that not every person can be a Sachin Tendulkar. Not every person can be a Kapil Dev or a Zafar Iqbal or a Anju Bobby George. But I feel that everybody should take a conscientious decision about your own quality of life. I think that every generation is living longer. Our grandparents lived until they were 50, 60 years old. Our parents are living till they are 70, 80 years old. Because of modern produce, because of modern medicine, the longevity of a human age in every generation is getting longer. But I concentrate on the quality of life. For me, sports brings in that quality of life. For me, I feel that if you are conscientious about what food you eat, conscientious about the sleep that you sleep, conscientious about your fitness regime, conscientious about the shoes that you wear, the clothes that you wear, the environment you live in, including the environment you create in your own house for your family and your children, that differentiates between a stressful life or a quality life. And I think sports brings that in. Especially when you look at us athletes who have now retired. While we were playing, we were so focused on our diet, on our training regime, on the amount of skips we did, the push-ups we did, how many carbs we ate, how many hours we slept, all the rehab we did. But especially now, as we've gotten older and retired, we have to pay even more attention to it. I think that the importance here is the quality of life versus the longevity of life.
And the choice is yours. Anju, your thoughts on the champion first or the infrastructure first, and how does sport really contribute to the idea of India?
See, in sports, actually, we are not teaching how to win. We are teaching them how to win and how to lose. So that's the main thing now. The new generation kids, they don't know how to lose. So sports actually, it brings discipline in your life. That's, as Leander said, that's the main thing. And this winning-losing ideas, it's giving us. And of course, we need more champions. We have to support athletes, and the system should support. And it's like egg or the chicken first. That's the question. So it should be a collective effort. It should be a collective effort from the government, from the parents, from the system. And it's the Olympic medals, if you look at the numbers, it's directly related to the developed countries. Actually, more medals are winning by developed countries, actually. US or the most European countries.
But
India
we have
is still
China
a
now.
developing country, so we are yet to reach that level.
No, but nobody talks about the China model.
China is a different.
You can't force anyone to pick up a sport.
So we can't focus on that model, because from the at the age of 2 or 3, it's military model training they are giving. That I don't think is needed in India.
Right. Zafar sir, I really want your thoughts on the same. Champions तो बना रहे हैं हम लोग, but time लगता है, process है.
देखिए, मेरे ख्याल में चैंपियन तो अपने आप बनता है. जब बच्चा खेलता है तो ही नोज वेयर ही इज गोइंग टू डू. एंड मेरे ख्याल में मेरा अपना मानना है कि स्पोर्ट्स शुड बी प्लेड बाय एवरीवन. यानी स्पोर्ट्स का मतलब ये नहीं कि हर आदमी ओलंपिक्स में जाएगा, वर्ल्ड कप में जाएगा. एटलीस्ट ही शुड बी गुड इनफ टू कीप हिमसेल्फ फिट. ऐसे फिटनेस की बात है कि एक इंसान कैसे फिट होता है. तो यानी द चिल्ड्रन मस्ट टेक स्पोर्ट्स एज ए एज ए पार्ट ऑफ हिज लाइफ. और मैं अभी भी इन माय ओपिनियन के ये ऐसी मेडिसिन है कि जिसने खा लिया वो फिर वो कामयाब हो जाएगा. दिस इज माय थॉट कि भाई ये ऐसी मेडिसिन है जिसने खा लिया वो सक्सेसफुल होगा जिंदगी के अंदर. देयर इज नो सेकंड ओपिनियन कि इसमें कोई मैं गलत कह रहा हूं. दिस इज माय पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस. ही कैन गो एनीवेयर, ही कैन मिक्स अप विद एवरीवन. देखिए, मैं अभी भी कहता हूं, जब हम खेलते थे पंजाब के 10 लड़के, मद्रास के 5 लड़के, बॉम्बे के 4 लड़के, एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड. और वही एक बकेट रहता था नेशनल स्टेडियम में, 10 गिलास है उसके अंदर, वो सब उसी से पी के जा रहे हैं. सब पीते फेंकते जाते हैं. प्यास लग रही, मैं फेंक रहा हूं, उसमें घास भी पड़ा है, उसमें जो भी है सब पी के जाते थे. यानी इट टीचेज ए लॉट. यानी इट हैज ए ग्रेट वैल्यू. और आज भी हम लोग स्पोर्ट्स के ऐसे लोग हैं जो सब यूनाइटेड है. स्पोर्ट्स यूनाइट द कंट्री. ऐसा नहीं कि अगर क्रिकेट फाइनल खेल रही है तो एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड. हॉकी फाइनल खेल रही है तो एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड. तो ये जो स्पोर्ट्स है, ये वो चीज है जो हम कहते हैं कि अगर हम जीत भी गए तो हम आपसे कहेंगे यस यू हैव प्लेड बेटर देन मी, बट समहाउ यू हैव वन. वो कहेगा. मगर ये दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट में नहीं होता, दूसरे चीजों में नहीं होता. हर आदमी लेता नहीं मैं अच्छा हूं, मगर स्पोर्ट्स ये सिखाता है कि यस, अगर लैंडर पेज जीत गया है मुझसे, मगर शायद मैं अच्छा खेलाऊंगा, ही विल कम टू मी एंड अप्रिशिएट कि यस यू हैव प्लेड बट आई हैव वन. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज.
और वो हैंडशेक जो हर मैच के एंड में होता है. बिल्कुल.
मैं आपको अभी भी बता रहा हूँ. आप देखिए पाजी, अभी हम लोग हार गए थे पाकिस्तान से, कोई मैच था 10 विकेट से. इंडियन टीम हैज अप्रिशिएटेड देम कि यू हैव प्लेड द गेम. और ये सोचिए, ये स्पोर्टिंग स्पिरिट ये सिखाता है हमें, और आज हम उसी पे निर्भर हैं और रहेंगे भी, और कभी भी झुकेंगे नहीं. और ये जैसे लोग कहते हैं कि हम लोग फेडरेशन के करीब जाएं, तो ये बड़ा मुश्किल होता फॉर अस कि हम किसी के सामने जाकर के ये कहें कि यार हमको रख लो. ये हमारे खून के अंदर नहीं है. जो खिलाड़ी खेलता है उस लेवल पे, वो आपके सामने झुकेगा नहीं. जो कंट्री के लिए खेलते हैं हम लोग, यानी दिस टाइप ऑफ स्पिरिट वी हैव डेवलप्ड.
और एक खिलाड़ी बहुत इमोशनल भी होता है. आप सबसे बात करती हूँ, वो मुझे नजर आता है, हम सब महसूस भी कर सकते हैं. Concluding comments really to Paji, and then of course we have Union Minister Nitin Gadkari ji amongst us, and we'll be starting our discussion with them. Paji,
अच्छा लगा कि ये भी बैठे हुए हैं.
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही समय
कभी
पे मैसेज
स्पोर्ट्स के
जाएगा.
बारे में भी सुन लें. हम तो इनको दिन रात सुनते रहते हैं. So sometimes if they listen to us from our side of the story, also very good. No, I think what your question was very right, is that first you want a champion or you want a. According to me, champion will come, but you want to make a team, then you need infrastructure. Odd person will come. Doesn't matter if there is the infrastructure or not. That throughout the world it will happen. Not now, 100 years back also we produced champions. But when you want in abundance, you want more people, then you need infrastructure.
Right.
Sachin जैसे player, Sunil जैसे player, या ध्यान जैसे player, या मिल्खा जैसे, वो आते रहेंगे. But क्या हम team बना सकते हैं? उसके लिए you have to work as a team, not individual.
Wonderful words to really end this discussion, this conversation with all of you legends in your own field. Thank you so much. A big round of applause really for all our panelists here, and for taking all the questions also. And मैं बस ये summarize करना चाहती हूँ. I think the thing that we really felt in this discussion was एक देश, एक शरीर है, उसकी आत्मा के कई हिस्से हैं. उस आत्मा में खेल भी है जो जान झोंकता है, और नितिन गडकरी जी हमें इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. इसके बारे में खूब चर्चा हुई है. आई एम श्योर इट विल रीच द राइट पर्सन एट द राइट टाइम, एंड वी आर ऑल वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स इट. थैंक यू सो मच.